I would first wish to express my deepest gratitude to the Shri Guruji Centenary Celebration Committee for inviting me to participate in today's seminar on national security. I consider it a huge privilege to be in your midst today. Shri Sridharan ji, Shri Murli ji, and distinguished members of the audience. I have been asked to speak upon intellectual terrorism. I will modify it slightly and speak on intellectual subversion, of which intellectual terrorism is one important dimension. When we say intellectual subversion, who are we holding guilty of intellectual subversion in this country? I, for one, hold academia, the media, and the intellectual elite, those that have been educated in the English medium schools and institutions of higher learning. These are the three broad categories of people who I hold guilty of intellectual subversion in this country. What have they been subverting? They have been subverting the very idea of nation that the Hindu community holds. When I say Hindu, let me make a few things clear here. I'm going to be extremely blunt in my exposition. I do not speak to please anybody, neither do I speak to offend anybody. I speak what I perceive to be the truth. And when I say Hindu, I use it as the widely accepted term for those who practice Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma, I say, is Hinduism. People who practice Sanatana Dharma are Hindus. It is a part of the intellectual subversion exercise that they have discredited the word Hindu so that we are a nameless group of people, to which I will come to a little later in my talk. So when I say Hinduism and when I say Hindus, I mean Sanatana Dharma and the Dharmis. So what have these intellectual terrorists perpetrated? They have subverted the idea of nation. What is a nation? Nation, according to our classical texts, to Hindu, Indian classical text, is Rashtra. Rashtra is both territory and the people. There is a historical sense of belonging of the people to that territory. It is a territory with well-defined borders. Rashtra has well-defined borders, and Rashtra means the people with a historical and an ancient sense of belonging to that territory. Indian classical texts speak of Hindu Rashtra as being one of the 7 components of Rajya. Hindus constitute 85% of the population of this country. We are a nation of Hindus, but we are neither a Hindu Rashtra nor are we a Hindu Rajya. And this is the success of the intellectual subversion. That we have neither a Hindu Rashtra nor do we have a Hindu Rajya. What are the 7 components of a Rajya that our classical texts speak of? They speak of the Swami, Amatya, Durga, Kosha, Danda, Bala, and one more. Let me come to it. Danda and Bala. There are 7 components. Swami or the king would be the state, the head of the government. The Amatya or the minister will be the council of ministers. Durga is the capital, Kosha is the territory, you have Danda and you have Bala. Of all this, it's very important that you have the Hindu ethos truly reflected in at least some of these components. It is the success of intellectual subversion in this country that a person who attempts to be the Swami is a Roman Catholic European who has neither a historical sense of belonging to this territory nor an understanding of what this Rashtra is all about. It is to the success of intellectual subversion in this country that you have a council of ministers who actively propagate and perpetuate the politics of minoritism in various spheres of national public life. If Danda can be construed in modern terms to be the law and the judiciary, you have a constitution and you have a judiciary which is actively hostile to the Hindu community. Let me take this step by step. When I say nation, I have an understanding of who belongs and who does not belong. It is to the success of this intellectual subversion that Hindus constantly speak of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and think Sonia Gandhi and Mother Teresa are a part of this Kutumbakam inside this country. When we have a distinct sense of us and them, we must have a sense of who is a Hindu. The them is who is a non-Hindu. If we have a sense of us and them, there is a sense of Indian Hindus. There is a sense of non-Indian people who profess the Hindu religion. Kautilya's Arthashastra did not deny the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam principle at all. But Kautilya knew who was a national, who was a non-national. Kautilya encouraged the Hindu way of welcoming refugees. But Kautilya also said, keep the refugees out of your national borders. Provide for them. Take care of them. See to it that they are comfortable and feel secure. But do not bring them into national borders until their loyalties have been tested and found to be true. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam does not mean opening up all your doors and allowing everybody to come inside, particularly when you are in a state of weakness. Let us take academia first. What are the falsehoods that they have propagated to subvert the very idea of a nation? They have, I think, done two things. They have fragmented the Hindu consciousness so that a very large section, or shall I say a very significant section of the Hindu community has been placed outside of national borders, and other sections of the Hindu community have been placed